Hey everyone, it is August 8th. It is about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. So first of all, the video is not investment advice. And then second of all, this market is taking a beating. And I've said this, that the alts were firing off warning shots. It was like they sent them, it's like we were hiking up a trail in Bitcoin. The alts got mauled by a grizzly bear at this level, and Bitcoin just ignored it. They started rolling over hard. Bitcoin ignored it, came up, and now Bitcoin is being mauled to death by the bear. So I talked about at this level right here that we kind of break out, make a little bit of a bear flag. I thought it'd actually be more elongated in nature than where we ended out at, but the selling pressure is immense across the board. Just about every single alt that I follow, Bitcoin Cash, IOTA, ADA, XRP, NEO, EOS, I think I already said, ETA, or ETH, I meant, and LTC. I mean, those are some of the top ones that I follow. Every single one of them, except for EOS, has broken to a new low for the year. That is not a good sign at all. I mean, it's a very, very bad sign. The whole market has broken to a whole new low. The indicators on the daily chart, I mean, when you look at like the relative strength index, even the stochastics, anything, just they have been absolutely murdered. So yes, the market is due for some form of a little relief rally. They call it a dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it, a knee-jerk reaction. The market is due for something like that. But due to the amount of selling pressure, I can confidently say we're going to be testing this 57.50 range, I think, very shortly. I did not think we would get this fast of a sell-off in this market to the downside. But at the end of the day, this is why I still remained bearish on the longer term time frame for everybody. I tried to say it, people call me a perma bear, whatever they want to call me, I don't care. At the end of the day, I try to be as real as I possibly can for everyone, and I try to emphasize caution, and I try to emphasize using stops and to have an investment strategy. And as long as you have that, you've protected yourself from this drop. If not, you've suffered some crazy pain, especially if you're in the alts. IOTA is down over 17% today. That is a massive, massive drop. So on top of the continued deterioration since IOTA and the rest of the alts have experienced since about July 23rd or a little earlier than that level. So we sliced through every level of support. Now we are at the bottom of this area. There were some buyers in here. The question is, are they still here? I do not think this area is going to hold up long. Based on this vertical price action, we're probably going to get that knee-jerk reactive move like I talked. Where it goes, I'm just drawing the line for visual, just a visual representation of what I'm trying to say. And then we should have a continuation downward. The question is, does 57.50 hold, or do we burst through that area? I think we're probably going to break through it. It's going to cause some panic, but then from there, potentially have another rally. But I say that with extreme caution. I mean, extreme caution. Like, I feel like if we're the bomb squad right now and we're looking at a bomb and it has the same color wires everywhere, I feel like by me saying that there's going to be a potential run after 57.50's broke is like me just saying, just guess and cut a wire. That's literally the amount of caution I really want to emphasize to everyone, because had you told me that Bitcoin in just a couple weeks was going to drop from about 8,200 all the way down to 6,100 this quickly, I wouldn't have believed it. I actually thought we were going to spend a little more time and elongate the move like we've seen in the past, right? Like the moves are getting more elongated as we're making these drops. Everything's getting smaller, like I've talked about plenty of times, but this is getting more severe. And on top of that, the alts became very unstable at this level and have just completely been obliterated. And now they're all breaking to new lows for the year. So Bitcoin already did it back here. The alts are starting to do it again. If Bitcoin breaks to another new low for the year, guess what? Now we got a series of lower lows and lower highs, bear market. One thing I have to emphasize as much to everyone out there, people might scoff at it, whatever. The mainstream media is not your friend. I mean, honestly, how many times does the mainstream media have to lie before people get it? I mean, all these big news sources, they're all crap. I mean, they're there to only deceive you. And literally, I think in all facets of life, they're only there to deceive you from, as long as I've been alive. So I'm not an old guy. I'm only 33. But everyone I've ever learned from, not a single person ever relied on mainstream media. I can guarantee you are going to get murdered time and time again. And that's exactly what they do. They call the sheep to the slaughter, and they do it time and time again. I do not mean that derogatory. If you got caught, it's the nature of this beast. This beast is evil in a sense. Like, honestly, like, I think Lucifer is like, hey, you guys are getting a little crazy out here, or whatever demonic demon, you want to come up with. I think even they're like, all right, guys, this is getting a little too insane now. But this is just proof in the pudding. Remember, on some of my prior videos, I talked about, and I went over the articles. We talked about the YouTube videos. We talked about the people on Twitter, right? They're doing it to attract subscribers, and that's it. They don't care about what happens to you. They're just trying to get up in the hype and attract as many people as they can, and they're leading all these sheep right to the slaughter time and time again. So it's not that I think it's the end of the market. I feel like everybody just fixates on that. Like, people just start connecting the dots. It's not about that. It's just we are at a very critical point in Bitcoin to where if we break to another low below 57.50, and I think we're going to, based on what's already happening in the alts, right? Like, the alts are kind of leading the way in a sense. That we are now going to have a confirmation of lower highs and lower lows. This is another low, and then this would obviously be the new low. And it's not going to be good for the market, at least for the short term. Like, how long it lasts, I don't know. Like, I'm not a fortune teller, nor do I care to be one. But one thing I can say is that if we do not drop through this area, right, and we hold this area, like, everything below here is Fantasyland. I'm not going to get hyped up on Fantasyland, right? We're going to fixate on this area, the 57.50 mark. If we're able to hold this area, okay, then we have a base forming. Yes, we may have our lower highs and lower lows, but we may be forming a base like that eventually should start to kind of go a little more horizontal, and then taking that time, that return to normalization of a market, and to rebuild that energy to eventually break up to the upside and get above that 20,000 figure and start to rise to some of those other figures that some people have been talking about. But I do not see that. Again, I talked about it. I think I've said in my videos that I did not think that was going to happen by the year end. Like, people have been calling for crazy figures by the year end. There's just, the momentum is dying. The volume is dying. The only time we're seeing big volume is to the downside. We're not seeing it to the upside at all. And when it is to the upside, it's essentially coming in and then disappearing almost just as fast. Like, it's a trick, like a magic trick is being done time and time again in this market. So the only thing I can do for everyone is just say, use caution. If you're trading the market, please use stops. I know it's not investment advice, but again, I'm not here to hype things up. I want to keep it as real as possible. And what I can tell you from what I'm seeing across the board in the alts and Bitcoin, this does not look good at all. I mean, this thing is just rolling over time and time again. Vertical price action in Bitcoin can lead to knee-jerk reactions. But the overall trend is down, and that's where we are right now, and that's what I think we're seeing. I think, yes, we may get that knee-jerk reaction, but we still have much more downside. These moves typically do not resolve themselves on the first initial drop. It's typically a multi-wave move. Sometimes it can have 3 waves, 4 waves, 5 waves. It just depends, but I think this is just the beginning, right? The question is, do we stop somewhere around 57.50, or do we smash through it? If we smash through it with a long range bar, meaning some big move like we saw today, where we just start unraveling and all of a sudden like 800 points disappear, over the course of like a day and a half, a day, etc., then the next major levels of support in Bitcoin are right around the 4,000 range, and that is right in this area. You can see there's a lot of action. There was a lot of action. The question is, the people who bought it there, do they perceive that Bitcoin is a great investment opportunity at that level, or are they looking lower? And if they're looking lower, below that, we could see Bitcoin drop significantly further. And I don't want to talk about figures below that, because that's, even this 4,000 levels, a fantasy land. Again, it's coming down to this, but I'm just trying to talk about potential areas where the market could fall and find support. At the end of the day, these charts, I don't care how crazy you want to get with technical analysis, whatever works for you, but at the end of the day, these charts are telling us where buyers and sellers are, right? Like if you're watching a heat map of humans in the United States or in the world, and you can see where that foot traffic is, etc., that's exactly what these charts show you. The foot traffic is here, it's here, right? We're cutting through these zones. It was here, that's why we got that savior run that we had, this little pop right here. If we start slicing through that, then guess what? The next level is down below, around in the 4,000s. Where it stops, I don't know, but somewhere in that level is where I would have my eyes fixated if we start to smash through 57.50 with a long range bar or candle, depending on what type of chart you're looking at, a point figure, etc. And we start to just cascade through that area, then obviously you got to go down to the next level to see if those buyers are willing to invest. But I think anything below 57.50 right now is still fantasy land, and that's what I'm going to say at the moment. But I do think we have more downside in this market. Just there may be a knee-jerk reaction. How long that goes on for, I don't imagine long, because of what we've seen and what we're seeing in the alts. So again, that's it for tonight. If you enjoy the content, you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, follow. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your support. I will do another video come Friday evening. And then also, too, if you want to check out my site, it's geometriccharts.com. I do have a subscription service where I cover Bitcoin and those altcoins I talked about in the beginning of the video in much more detail. I provide detailed charts, stops, like target areas where I think support's going to be, resistance is going to be. I do that as well for the stock market and commodities. You can learn more about that at my site. And then at the bottom, I have my social media links and the link to my to the Slack channel. And the Slack channel is cryptocurrency oriented. There's like over 300 members there. Everyone's extremely friendly. It's just a nice environment to be in if you're interested in the cryptocurrency market, which obviously you are if you're watching the videos. But anyways, you can check that out at geometriccharts.com. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. I'll talk to everybody on Friday.